welcome to the Bear Pen. I am Adrian, or Aries, whichever you prefer, and I am the storyteller here for Thala Unbound, our Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition live play set in a homebrew world of mine called Thala. A big thank you to absolutely everyone who is here in chat and everybody who has been subbing and following recently and subscribing on YouTube. It is really, really lovely of you all to do that, and we appreciate it so much. And we hope you are all enjoying this story as far as it goes. And yes, so we're not going to take too much time just with me. We're going to jump right into introducing our wonderful players here. We are sadly down a shock and a do tonight, but we shall persevere, and we are going to go ahead and introduce our players. Why don't you tell us who you are and who you're playing, and where people can find you on the internet. We'll start with Glyza this time.
Oh, hello. I'm Glyza. I'm a person of many hats. I'm a podcast host. I'm a writer. I'm a streamer. But hey, you're here for the TTRPG stuff. So let me tell you all about the stuff that I do. On Mondays, I'm on twitch.tv/chatterboxava, where I play Darla on Somehow Human, an Urban Shadows 2nd edition actual play. Darla is a demon-possessed sainted, but their demon has a crush on her, so I'm sure that's going to be okay. On Tuesdays, I usually just play Mass Effect on my own, the space shooting dating sim on twitch.tv/classicalglyza. Every other Wednesday, I play Alicia Lionor on Gods of Color on twitch.tv/Kira858. Alicia is a demigod nerd obsessed with dragons, so it's just me minus the demigod part. On Thursdays, I play Moira, a scholar who is suddenly a space ninja because of space magic with Esper Genesis revelations. But today, this Friday, I am playing Lady Salome. Lady Salome is my drowned noble warlock that just wants to see what the world is without the support of their very supportive parents. But yeah, you can find me everywhere on the internet as @ClassicalGlyza, or just going to bio.link/ClassicalGlyza. I'm very active on Twitter. I also have the TikToks, so if you want to check me out, I only have 2 videos there. But yeah, check me out on Twitter @ClassicalGlyza, where I make most of all of my announcements. And also because I'm occasionally hilarious and always a delight over there.
Fantabulous. Next up, the always amazing Ree. Why don't you tell us who you are and who you're playing, where people can find you on the internet?
Of course. Hello, everyone. I am at Big Dude Ree all over the interwebs. You can definitely check out there to see a full list of everything that I'm doing. On occasion, I appear here on the Bear Pen. I also appear over on Kira858 and all of those wonderful games, including Rivenwood Academy, Lords of Faerun, which is currently on, well, currently not on, so you should definitely go and check up on all of those stories because it was wonderful. We have some other stuff coming up, and I have another project coming towards the end of the month that you should keep your eyes open for. And tonight I will be playing the lovely and cool Aemaris Canals, who is gonna have to handle some issues and add some weight to the conversation, both literally and figuratively.
Indeed, indeed. All right, next up we can say hello to the wonderful Anne.
Oh, hello everyone. My name is Ann Pierce. I GM, I play, and I write tabletop games. You can find me at _Ann Pierce_ on the socials. Tonight I'm playing Tuxil. She is a high elf swamp druid. And yeah, we'll see how she takes the burning up of a swamp and a garden coming up today.
Indeed. All right. And then, of course, we have the amazing Di. Why don't you tell us who you are and where we can find you on the internet?
Hi, so I am here tonight playing Xaxi, who is a awesome monk. You know, they're trying their best, being a little awkward and just trying to make the world a little bit of a better place, while being just kind of a little bit myopic in their own stuff for a little bit. And you can also catch me on Cure 858 with the Reclamation campaign with a lot of these other beautiful people. It's a good time. Excited about that. So check the stream and YouTube for those as well. And I spend way too much time on Twitter at Dichromaniac, where I talk about pretty much anything that hits my brain.
Fantastic, fantastic. And of course, as I said earlier, I am Adrian, and I am the storyteller here for this wonderful show and this amazing group of people, and also for Blood on the Bayou, which is on its season break right now. But starting Mondays on the Bear Pin over here, we are actually going to be able to, we're starting a Marathon Mondays where we have remastered book one of Blood on the Bayou, because we were just getting started out streaming a year ago, and you know, this was before the amazing Alex helped us out with sound and all sorts of wonderful things. So you know, the earlier episodes, the sound was a bit rough, so we've done as much remastering as we can, and we are starting a Marathon Mondays with book one of Blood on the Bayou, so you'll be able to catch 2 episodes every week until that runs through, and we'll probably run through book 2 as well. So probably you'll be able to catch up on all of that before book 3 even starts. But today we are playing Thala Unbound. So we are going to go ahead and dive into our intro. And welcome back. So, where we left off last week, the Unifiers had just come through the Vault of the Keepers, where a number of the oldest records and some of the most dangerous or exquisite relics are kept, making their way all the way to the deepest levels, which were guarded by a coatl. The coatl itself had sustained heavy damage. Unfortunately, the attacker had gotten away. However, the information that had been given to the Unifiers by the coatl is that it seems that the larger of the two that had made their way into the deepest depths of the vault had had an altercation with the other fellow. And upon not finding, apparently, or perhaps finding and not liking what he was looking for, he disappeared through means which apparently should not be possible within inside this chamber. Eventually, the Unifiers made their way back to the above ground portions of the Guild of Keepers, and they spoke with Lady Mishante, Lady Shan herself being out of commission after the heavy use of magic which is required to open the barrier which sustains the vault in its condition. After a brief discussion, the relic of sorts which had been discovered by Lady Salome upon the corpse of one of the attackers who had seemed to have been the perhaps son of one of the high drow noble houses, had been carrying around his neck a silver emblem, which almost looked to be some kind of holy symbol, which had the image of sort of three coils or threads or ropes entwining about each other. Placing this upon the table for Lady Michonde and everyone else to have a look at, Aemaris recognized this symbol as being the same symbol that was worn by those that had attacked himself and kidnapped his sister. It is there that we pick up.
Necklace with the holy symbol immediately kind of zips towards Aemaris before floating in the air about 2 or 3 feet in front of him, and he kind of stares at it, and in his mind he's kind of replaying the events, the chase and his failure to protect his sister and his family and his people. And as he does so, the rest of you can see his eyes kind of turn to this deeper shade of purple, that he kind of looks towards you all, but still clearly keeping his main focus on the amulet. In Elvish, he will say, "Who are these people?"
Speak Elvish, right? Because I'm a drow. Um,
I imagine
are
so,
you
yes.
okay? Are you okay? I say to him in Elvish.
Who are these people?
I don't know. That's what we're trying to find out.
What do you know about this symbol?
And I'm gonna say the next words like with a little bit of force, um, just to get his attention. I told you, my love, we're trying to find out.
He will let the symbol float back towards the table. It doesn't say anything else.
Before the holy symbol actually ends up resting on the table itself, it's kind of picked back up again by a separate telekinetic force of sorts, which seems to be emanating from Lady Meshante. And she holds it up, brings it to her face, and looks it over. I have never seen this symbol in my life. And my life is quite extensive.
Do you think? And I look at the body of the my drow. Like I know him, right? As
You
being the
do indeed. His name was Chiron Metzle.
okay. I look at the body of Chiron. Do you think his family would know what it is? I found it on him.
It's possible, but he's barely old enough to take care of himself, at least by our standards. These situations can be delicate, and it is our purview to look into the matters of the guilds and to look into the matters of, well, history and such. We don't have authority to question a noble house. This is not what we do.
Right.
Aemaris is going to remove a deck of blue and purple cards from in his bag, and then they will kind of float in the air in front of him, and gravity will begin to compress them harder and harder. And I will take 11 minutes to cast Augury on the card with using the cards.
Hmm. Indeed. So you are ritually casting that. So Aemaris begins his ritual casting of this, which is going to take some time. In the meantime, all of you are assembled there. You can see from this room here where this is sort of like the office slash bedroom slash whatever you would like to call it of Lady Méchante, and there is a window that you can see out into the city, and far off to the southwest you can still see that there is a column of pure green light that is emanating from that direction. And with the odd glow that sort of casts upon everything else, Méchante looks to you, Lady Salome. You are in the unique position to deal with these matters.
Yes.
I believe that this would be something that would fall under the purview of the Unifiers, not the Keepers, as you are one of them. Perhaps a discussion with Drexville can give you the extra authority that you need
Right.
in any of these matters.
Thank you, my lady. I will try to reach out to them as soon as possible.
Well, I would suggest checking in with Drexville, or perhaps seeing if there's anything else that you might need to be able to do this night once Aemaris has finished whatever it is that he is doing. But you've all done a great service, and we have more questions, but I believe that these can lead us to some answers, at least.
Is the amulet still floating in the air?
It is, yes.
I'll reach out a tentative hand towards it. Do you think it's magic? Boink.
It doesn't seem to be magic in and of itself, but it does appear to be a focus, as one would wear for the conduit of magic, yes.
So that means he believed something.
I would say so.
Boink,
Perhaps,
boink, boink.
perhaps
make
the
it spin.
symbol. You said it wasn't anything you recognized in your long life. Perhaps it's something new.
That wouldn't make sense.
Perhaps. A thought occurs to me. And while Aemaris is casting his spell, and she looks to you, Xaxi, and to Aemaris. Your guildmaster might have more knowledge on these things if I don't recognize this, but it's always hit and miss whether or not that piece came with him here.
He does know many things. He does not share them all. But perhaps if the threat is great enough.
Well, whatever these people are doing, I doubt it bodes well for the rest of us. And at this point, Aemaris, your casting of this spell completes. So, how many questions do you get? Is it one question, I believe? Oh, you might be muted, Ray.
Yes.
All right.
There's one.
What is your question?
So Aemaris would like to know the details of, or the result of, going to speak to the, was it family of the person who had the necklace?
So, the result... In terms of, now I believe you had described with me that this is very much like a tarot deck, yes?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So if it is akin to our tarot cards, when you are, describe how it is to me that it looks, that the focus of your question produces the Hanged Man.
So the deck at this point looks as if it's been compressed in many different dimensions, almost of time, or almost as if space has folded in over itself. And then as the spell concludes, one card is removed from the deck as the other ones kind of disappear from view. And that one card begins to turn a deep shade of purple before, almost as if space cracks around it, and then the card is revealed.
Hmm. The answer that you are able to interpret from your spell is that the results are mixed.
This time in common, and he will speak very intentionally. I wish to go and speak to this person's family. However, it appears that that may not be without its consequences. Outside of hoping that this guildmaster has information, what are the other alternatives?
We're gonna find whatever it is. It's a little bit difficult now, and I'm kind of concerned as well as why you're so um attached to this. I would like to learn more later, but we will find whatever it is, whatever this means. Do you trust me?
Aemaris will pause for a moment before standing and with a flourish of his shawl leave the room.
Hmm. Well, it seems that Aemaris is going to need some time.
Yeah.
I would suggest returning to the Unifiers Guild and taking the night unless there is anything else you wish to accomplish.
Thank you, lady. I'm gonna go ahead and follow him, and I would run after him if the lady Mishante doesn't need me anymore.
She nods her head.
And I follow Amaris, and I'm like, when I reach him, what's going on? Why are you so freaked out?
I'm not freaked out.
You look very freaked out.
The people who took my sister wore those same pendants, and I won't let them go free for mortal politicking.
Okay, well that makes sense. Um, thank you for telling me, and we will get to the bottom of this. Don't worry. I understand that you're mad, but that's why we're here. That's what we do in the city, at least. Okay?
Better be done quickly. Not known for my patience, and I've already failed once.
I understand. We're all going to work hard to figure this out, okay?
Fine.
Okay. Well, go ahead and get some rest. And the reason why I say that is because my parents want to meet you.
I don't have time for pleasantries.
It's kind of important.
So be it.
And this is also a way to get to know the other houses. And maybe they'll have a clue, whatever it is Chiron was carrying.
Fine.
Please alter your attitude just a little bit by then. And then I walk away. And I go to my room,
Possibly.
my house, whatever.
Are you heading towards the room that you keep here in the Guild of Keepers, or are you heading back to your room in the Unifiers Guild?
I'm actually gonna go to my actual house. Where my parents so my parents are here and they're celebrating, whatever. I
Mhm.
assume they're not, I'm assuming they're staying at a hotel of some sort, right?
It is difficult to say because there was the attack, so the festivities, the normal festivities were interrupted. So it is likely that, and you could see from the window that there are still fires that are being put out in certain sections of the city. Maybe more attackers are being taken on. You are not really aware of where your parents might be at this point in time.
Do you think I could spend some time to look for them? Because I'm free from my obligations.
You could try. The place that you are currently is very far from the wall, or what was the wall. So getting there would take, oh gosh, if you were on foot, it would take 2.5 days.
2.5 days to get to where my parents are. Did they go
Yes.
home?
Well, you were teleported by Meshante to the
Wait.
Keepers Guild.
I have magic. What am I doing? I don't need to walk. Give me one moment.
There are also the cable cars. The cable car would be a lot faster. Instead of, like walking time, this would cut the time to get from section to section of the city, down to like 1 day on the cable cars. There are guild sanctioned teleportation circles, although I'm not sure if there is one in that section of the city anymore, to be honest, because there are no guild headquarters there. You could rent a steeder, you could rent a horse.
I have dimension door.
Yes, which will take you 500 feet.
If I dimension door with my horse, would that work?
It would, but so I will give you the distance here of how long this would take. So So it's around 122 miles away.
Math.
So I don't think you have enough spell slots.
Fine. I'm going to go look for a teleportation circle.
There's one in the
there's-
guild. There's one in the Guild of Keepers.
I'm gonna go to that one and teleport to my parents' house, I guess, if they're there.
So your parents' home would be okay. So let me give you some more thing. it's quite likely that yes, your parents would have, you know, maybe arrange some lodging. That area of the city, maybe not. In fact, almost definitely not. That's more like just your general, everyday sort of like folk that sort of make their homes in that area of the city. So likely they wouldn't actually stay there.
If I could talk
they
to Lady Mashante to just teleport me home, would that be? I just want to go home, basically.
Yeah,
This is
yeah,
what I want.
yeah,
I
yeah.
want to check my parents are okay.
Understood. So, if you return back to Lady Mishante, if you want to check that they're okay, you can probably ask her to try and use sending if you'd like.
Okay, that's better. I would, instead of traveling all the way there, I'm gonna go back to Lady Mishante's and ask if I could speak to my parents. But everybody else can do whatever they want first.
All right. Tuxil and Shashi, what were your intentions after Lady Mishante had let you go?
Well, I wanted to ask Lady Mishante, have we heard from the garden?
I haven't checked in yet. My abilities are a little bit limited at the moment. I required a lot of my energy to open that barrier. I can try.
How far are the gardens from here if I wanted to fly?
This is in the same section of the city, so this is like 2.5 days walking. Mirandon is enormous. It's 5 days
Yeah.
walk from end to end.
I'll nod and then go off to a corner, and I'm going to start scrying.
All right. Very good. What are you scrying on?
I'm going to find some water. Is there like a fountain or water anywhere here?
You'd be able to procure some water, yes.
So I take the water and I swirl it and I look at it and I say, "Show me." And I'm trying to conjure Coel.
Kalel?
Yeah, because he was the last person I saw at the garden.
Hmm.
So I want to see what's happening with him.
All right. Let's see. So we're going to. What is your spell save DC?
Uh, don't know. It's a wisdom saving throw
Mm-hmm.
of 14.
Wisdom saving throw 14. Okay. Let me just tell you what sort of bumps you might get for that, because Scrying gives you certain things. All right. You are familiar with the target you know well, so they get a -5 to their same. You do not have a likeness or a picture or
I
a
do
body
not.
part or lock of hair or anything. So just -5 wisdom saving throw. He is an archfey. Just by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, no, you attempt to focus in on him with your scrying. You're in the same guild.
I'm not trying to be.
I know. I'm just. I'm just.
Sneaky.
I fully understand this. This is just to see if he would resist or not. At this
Not
point in
that-
time, the city is under attack. So first thing I want you to do. Is I want you to roll a wisdom saving throw. This is in general to see, because you are a part of the growers, this is to see if his self would recognize the essence or the feeling of your magic.
It's a 9.
And 9. you attempt to focus in on Lord Kal-El, and you are shunted out of the spell.
I drop the glass and it shatters on the floor. Oh no.
Are you all right, dear? What are you trying to do?
Well, I'm trying to see if everything's okay in the garden. It was on fire.
Well, it looks as if it's still on fire. We could try and contact some people. At this point, I will say that Lady Salome has made her way back as well. Xaxi, were you waiting for Tuxil?
I definitely want to overhear the conversation that Tuxil had. But then once Tuxil leaves, I'm going to respectfully bow, make my way out of the room, and I know it was several days walk to get from where the guilds of knowers are stationed to here we are, the Guild of Unifiers. Is there a...
Oh, to the Guild of Unifiers is close. It's not going to take you that long.
Okay, I'm just... Because thinking about what she said about asking our guild leader about the symbol, trying to find...
Are you talking about the knowers?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that is also about 2.5 days, give or take. If it is on guild business, you could probably request use of the teleportation circle.
In that case, yes, I would like to go to where the teleportation circles are housed and present myself to whoever is managing that area and humbly request a transport.
For purposes of this, you make your way to where the teleportation circle is. It is in the same area that you had been teleported to when Lady Mishonde had brought you all here from the battlefield, essentially. And there is a woman with palish white skin, blonde hair that sort of falls down to her shoulders, and she is in the uniform of the Guild of Keepers, which is sort of a gray and almost white, I want to say slightly Vulcan-ish looking appearance, but it shows way more skin because of the aesthetic of the world. And the woman, you can see that she is hovering ever so slightly, and she looks as if she was once human. She is one of the vampires, and this is I don't know if this is somebody that you know, but she is standing by a desk that is sort of it's almost like a concierge type desk in a way for people that have use, and looks up to you and says, "Oh, hello. You came in with Lady Mishante earlier. I'm afraid I did not catch your name."
I am Xaxi, of the Guild of Knowers and now the Guild of Unifiers. I come to you on urgent guild business. I must return back to the Guild of Knowers immediately, and I was hoping I would have use of the teleportation circles here.
She gives you a bit of a nod and a smile, and you can see the fangs, which are ever so slightly, and the light bits of red that are in her eyes. Not much, just the indication that she is no longer human, but it's not the complete red which you had seen earlier in the vaults. She nods her head to you and says, "All right, Considering the state of the city at this point in time, that's probably allowable. And she walks up to the circle and begins saying a few incantations and drawing some lines, and touches the ground, and the light sort of flares up for a second. She says, all right, step in.
I bow and say, we're going, someday we will fix this. For all of you.
The teleportation circle is working completely to parameters. I'm not quite sure what you were talking about.
I believe that we're going to we will find a cure someday.
Oh. Oh. Oh, well. To be honest, I did not have much going for me when I was human. I kind of prefer it this way. But there are many that I know that will jump at the chance, so thank you.
Just a small piece of hope. And I hop in.
All right, and you pop back there. So, Tuxil, are you leaving when Lady Salome arrives, or are you staying there?
After dropping the glass and realizing that didn't work, I would probably panically looking around for Xaxi. If I don't see them, I'm just going to start, wait for me, down the hallway, and probably will have just missed them.
Do you want to go with Xaxi?
I mean, if I see Xaxi go thump into the thing, I'm going to go right behind her. Yeah,
Yeah, you can. All right, you disappear there.
Pardon me.
All right, Lady Salome, you are back there with Mishande, and she has sort of, you see that the remnants of a shattered glass ball are busy being cleaned up by something invisible.
Stuff happened. My lady, I'm so sorry to have left so early without asking, but would you be able to contact my parents? I just wanted to make sure that they're okay.
I think that's probably within my power for today, although I will need to get some rest soon. What would you like me to say?
Say if they would need me. I just want to know if they're okay, and that I will try my very best to get home as soon as possible. And that they need to meet someone.
So, well, again, she wears this porcelain mask, so you can't see anything behind her eyes, but for a moment, she is still.
That's all.
And then she nods her head and says, they are fine. They made their way to the tram station underground.
Uh-huh.
And they should be home within a day or so. That was it.
Thank you. The other two that were here, where did they go?
I am not sure.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. And then I'm just gonna go to the room that is kept for me here.
All right. How about yourself, Aemaris? When you left.
Aemaris has retired to his personal quarters, and he is currently looking over. As he is beginning his trance for a few hours, he is going to be staring at a locket that has a picture of him, his sister, and his mother and father.
All right. You had been given quarters at the Unifiers Guild, which is not too far from the Guild of Keepers. Once Drexful had sort of been informed that Asta was needed by the Hunt Master, you had been co-opted to take Asta's spot here amongst the Unifiers. So there is a room that has been prepared for you at the Unifiers Guild. You would be able to go and collect your other things from the Guild of Knowers at some other stage. But yes, you are able to get in some rest here. And Lady Salome is able to get in some rest. But as for Xaxi and Tuxil, Xaxi, you are walking out of the the teleportation circle on the other side at the sort of the monastery of the Knowers, which is to the northwestern section of the city. And this is where there are the floating hills. They have been this way for absolute generations, and nobody is entirely sure what it was that caused this upheaval in the earth here, but there are bridges and different elevators and such which come up to these floating hills, and there is a section where the skyships can also dock if they want to. There's a port for the cable cars as well. But in the monasteries, the sort of halls of the Knowers, it is a very kind of open space that the teleportation circle is in. You walk through, and the smells of incense that sort of waft through sort of catch your nose, and make a dexterity saving throw for me, please, Xaxi.
Well, that was middling. 18.
18 is more than middling.
Well, the +7.
Yeah, you hear the, after you've walked a few steps out of the teleportation circle, you hear a and as you turn around just in time to move out of the way as Tuxil has sort of fluttered in and followed you through the teleportation circle.
You sort of rolling, brushing myself off and looking at Tuxil. I'm glad you followed.
I almost missed you.
That would have been sad, I think. I'm glad you're here. Yes.
I wonder if I believe her. I threw up just a little bit too close. I'm going to go to the garden. If it's still on fire, we have to stop it.
Oh, you're right. I got distracted. I wanted to help Aemaris, at least put this symbol in front of our guild leader. See if there was anything that he knew about what was happening, get to the root of this before more damage was caused.
How far is the Guild of Growers from the Guild of Knowers? Am I very far away?
I want to say about 4 days. 4 days walk, anyway.
Are there? You mentioned the cable cars. Are there also teleportation circles here?
Yeah, you came through a teleportation circle. Each of the guild headquarters has a teleportation circle. Now, this particular field of growers was not. There are many fields which are attended to by the growers. This was one that is close to where the wall was, that they were doing their renewal festival at this year. It sort of shifts location every year where they do the festival of renewal. So this is the one that was closest to where the wall was, which is a completely different section of where the growers are. That is the southeast of the city. The growers are on the southwest.
Okay.
So the fires are in that field to the southwest. That green explosion happened there.
There
there
are
another-
many.
Sorry.
Mm.
We
So-
just came through a circle. Is there another keeper of this circle around?
Not presently. The structure of the guild here, it is almost a sort of like a hewn out of some kind of sandstone. The potentially actually carved from one of the actual masses of the floating islands itself. Everything is very sort of open space, lots of open arches. It is a wide, more flat sort of complex, which takes up its own little island amongst the floating hills here and the floating islands. And yeah, there's no one that is attending to this particular circle right now. It is a different sort of vibe. If a person wanted to use this teleportation circle, then they would probably go and find somebody or ask one of the acolytes, so the higher ups in the guilds, or potentially ask the guildmaster himself to be able to actually use this to send you out.
We can go there.
Question.
Yes.
I think you're about to answer my question. Go ahead.
So, well, we can go wherever we want to. We just need to find the person. They're probably either out exploring or have their nose in a book, as we tend to do. But we're not stuck here. And there are many people who can put out the fire. But I think we're the only ones that can go and ask the questions.
Okay.
Have you been here before?
Have I been here before? Probably not.
Probably not.
No. Well, you want to
You-
ask your guild master. I should ask my guild master too. And then we should compare notes. Or
This
maybe
is-
or maybe I could stay with you and we could both ask your guild master. And then you could come with me and then we could go ask my guild master. And then we'll both hear the thing.
I agree. This is a good plan.
I stick with Shashi.
All right. Very good. Shashi, are you headed to where you expect to find Tharizdun?
Yes, we're going to make our way, and based on the way that the floating landscape is, I am probably kind of leaping and jumping, sort of stretching out a little bit. Not necessarily showing off, but more of enjoying the workout and the familiarity of bouncing between the different floating things, making our way to where I expect Tharizdun to be, and kind of also kind of encouraging Tuxil, like, look, like, this is, you have wings. I bet you like this.
Oh, I love it. I do circles around Shashi. I go over and under, and it's just a whole lot of fun.
Eventually, following your way through some of these separate floating pieces which are connected to this main island and a couple of bridges, well, not main island, but this is the island that the monastery itself is on. You make your way over a bridge to another set of buildings, and you know that there is a library here. There is, in this particular building, there's a library here, there's a medical lab here, and this is also where the sort of chambers of, if you wanted to see the guildmaster, would be. And you can see that there have been, the medical center is actually quite a buzz at the moment when you get here. There are people coming in, there are burn victims, there are people who have been stabbed, there are people who have broken arms, etc., from the fighting that has happened, and people are quite busy working here as well. So you can judge the sort of the hub of activity that is going on here is at this point. So somehow these people have been teleported to this location to give them some extra healing when the sort of tents that the Noahs had set up were full, I guess. But you do come to an office, and the door itself is shut at the moment. It is a relatively plain door by all standards, but as you approach it, there is this odd blackish purple greenish light that begins to emanate from under the door, and you hear these sounds which just like and then stops, and you can hear that someone is inside.
Would I expect those sorts of lights and noises? Is that something that I am familiar with?
You would absolutely expect those sort of lights and noises. They happen on occasion. You would judge actually that these particular noises likely mean that I rolled a percentage dice. Likely mean that the guild master has just teleported in.
Perfect timing then. I will knock on the door.
Oh, hello. Come in. Yes.
Come, Tuxil. Have you haven't met our guild master yet, have you?
No, this is new for me.
Oh, he's wonderful. He's very, very wise. Open the door, and Master Tharizdun, this is Tuxil of the Guild of Growers, and we are here to ask you some questions.
Opening up the door, you can see that this particular room is sort of leveled into one of those what do I call it, like a divot, where a hole. There are lots of sort of cushions and things around. There's a nice sort of incense smell. There's sort of an open archway that looks out onto the city. There's a desk there, and against one corner there is what looks to be something like a fish tank of some sort, but it's empty, but there's this pinkish liquid inside. And turning around, you can see with very pink skin, sort of wrinkled, this face which has a couple of pink tentacles coming off of it, and he is wearing sort of a flowing kind of orange colored robe, or sort of tied at his waist, and he has sort of claws on his hands, sort of, and he says, "Oh, hello, you must be Tuxil. I've heard so much about you."
Hello. Have you?
Oh, this one won't keep quiet about the new friend. I like you very much, but come and have some tea. You know, I was just on my way bringing some poor people in from being teleported here, you know, the accident, and all these people fighting. There's so much noises.
Yes, it was, we were in the middle of it. It was intense. There were quite a few interesting things that happened. We're trying to figure out who was responsible.
Well, those people in the cloaks, I mean, you know, they were attacking everybody. It's just so much unnecessary slaughter. But come, let's sit. And he sort of sits down on some of the cushions, and he has a pot of tea there, and you could smell a nice smell of ginger and honey coming from it as he pours into some little glasses for you.
I sit, graciously take the tea. We asked if anyone recognized this symbol, and Lady Meshante did not recognize it, and I cast minor illusion and make a three-dimensional replica of the three-stranded knotted shape
Mm-hmm.
in the air, and sort of let it float over towards Tharizdun. We thought perhaps you would be familiar with this. It's either older than Lady Meshante, perhaps as old as you are, or perhaps it's something new.
Oh, I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I can try, but this might get a little bit dicey.
Well, I kind of look over at Tuxil. I'm prepared for whatever this may be.
We didn't come here for not answers.
You have a point.
They've taken a relative of a friend of ours, another member of the guild, Aemaris. We need to do right by him and by his family.
Okay. Well, hold on. And he sits down and sort of gets into a meditative pose.
No.
And after a little bit of time, his eyes blink open, and there is a pinkish violet colored light that just starts shining out of him, and he is sort of levitating out of the ground, and things around the room start whipping around in the air, and the monastery itself begins to shake a little bit under the pressure of this. And he says in the voice which is understood in your minds, but do any of you speak deep speech?
No, I've got abyssal though.
Infernal.
Nah. This is spoken in a language which you might have heard, but you don't know at all. And the voice is echoey, but in your minds you hear it. And he says, something like this should not exist. It isn't here. It's not here. No, it's a stone blocking the path of what I can see. And there are whispers in your mind, and it says, this one is old. And I need the two of you to please make me a charisma saving throw.
What? Oh, thank God that's a natural 20, which
Oof.
makes it 19.
19.
15?
17.
17? And for Xaxi, okay. So there is a blast of energy which radiates out of Tharizdun and actually throws him back against the wall and throws all of you against separate walls as well. Luckily, you do not take any damage from this, Xaxi, but you, Tuxil, see, and Xaxi, you see this as well, but Tuxil, you end up taking a bit of damage from this as well. Tuxil, you take 24 points of psychic damage.
Holy cow.
And both of you get this image in your mind of shifting coils of scales, feathers, different colors, and almost Tuxil, in the pain that you are feeling, it seems these colors are coming from the shifting light that is emanating off of these scales and feathers, a prism of different colors, absolutely radiant in its splendor. But Xaxi, you manage to keep your focus there, and you see these coils and scales of these different, the feathers and the colors. And Xaxi, because you succeeded, make an insight check for me.
Oh, okay. So that's 11.
11. This, you don't gather much more from this, but there's this flash, and all of you slump to the ground. Tuxil, you have blood coming out of your nose and your ears, and you just took a hefty amount of psychic damage. And Tharizdun sort of shakes his head and cleans off his clothes a little bit, as if brushing off dust or something, and stands up and, what happened there? I kind of blacked out for a minute.
There was, as I'm saying this, I'm rushing over to Tuxil, and putting my hands on her to heal her with physician's touch, or with hand of healing.
All right.
And so that is 1d6 plus 3. Well, so that's 4. So it's not a whole lot because I rolled a 1.
I'll take it.
The bleeding kind of stops.
Thank you.
Of course, Master. There was something there. Vision. It was a giant serpent, a dragon, scales and feathers, and it's old and powerful.
I mean, the only one I know, old and powerful, well, I know many of them, I guess, but what did it look like?
It looked like I think it might have been. It looked like a dragon. Looked like her. It was big and beautiful and shifting, and feathers and scales, and just so much larger than anything that I've seen before.
Wait, you say her, you mean like her?
I don't know who else it could have been.
Okay, but that doesn't make any sense. That symbol isn't the Xala symbol.
No, but the cloaks aren't her colors, yet they say Oxala lives.
Are the
Perhaps
cloaks Are the cloaks not her colors?
No, they're not. Oxala is known to be, multicolored. She is essentially a prismatic dragon.
Okay.
Did in the vision, did we get a sense of any like emotions along with it, or was it just visual input?
Just visual input.
I don't know. There wasn't anything else there besides what we could see, but it was beautiful and huge and shifting and seemed to contain so much more.
Master Tharizdun, you said this one is old. Which one is old? Do you remember what you said?
No, like I said, I kind of blacked out there. So whatever happened, maybe it's linked to the bigger part of me, which I don't necessarily want to get in touch with, if you catch my meaning.
Of course. I understand that too well. Who, if this is beyond you, and if it's beyond the other guild masters, where can we go for answers? Who would know?
Well, you know, I would recommend going deeper. The thing is, Thala's a very old place. It was old when I got here. So if you want to go looking for answers, you go down.
So we follow the path of those that wrought this destruction. We're looking for the same things.
I'm not entirely sure. What do you mean by that?
We found this symbol in the catacombs underneath where they're keeping the humans, the ones that choose to sleep.
Right. Okay. Well, no, I mean, those kind of stop at a certain point, right? I mean, if you want answers, you go down. Like, you gotta find old places, go down, deep underground.
Kind of look over to Tuxil, see how she reacts to that.
I get closer to the window and any open space in the room.
Other than that, let me think. I don't know. You could try. You could always try seeing what the bringers think. Maybe they can get you in touch with one of the gods. It's one of those things. Maybe they have answers for you. But for now, it looks like you, young lady, took a wallop. So, sleep. Sleep. Other people can deal with these issues.
Thank you, Master Tharizdun, for your knowledge and your hospitality as always.
Of course. Now, before you go, and I mean it, you need to sleep. Before you do that, anything else I can do for you?
No, but I believe that answers the questions that I have today.
I could use a way home. Or, well, It's not
Oh.
home, is it? Back to the Guild of Growers.
Okay. I mean, you don't want to sleep it off for a night.
I think I'd rather sleep in my own pond. I mean, room.
We can do that. We can do that.
Shashi, you can come with me. There's a bed in there too, if you want.
Of course, I'm comfortable sleeping most places.
All right. So you are led back to the teleportation chamber by Tharizdun himself, and he says, mutters a few incantations and touches the symbol on the ground. You are able to travel through to the section of the city where the growers are. And here, the trees are enormously tall, and they are all the shops and all the houses and all the bridges and such are all grown naturally, and everything is connected to the trees. So there's a large canopy up ahead, whereas in other parts of Moranzan, it is the buildings that keep getting taller. In this section, that the growers came and established their headquarters, the sheer presence of both the Archfey, Lord Kalal, and Lady Ixaloa are what caused this place to flourish in this way. The actual teleportation circle itself is set up in one of the higher trees, sort of on a platform, and there are vines that encircle sort of more what you would imagine is more classic Lothlorien-esque type architecture around this area, and there are some guards that are actually keeping watch over the circle. This evening it is a centaur and an elf, wood elf, that are busy watching over the circle. They are, wearing the armaments that you would expect to find amongst the growers, and sort of nod their head to you as you pass. And are there any other conversations or anything that the rest of you would like to have for the evening, or any thoughts? Or are you going to try and get to sleep?
I'm going to grab Shashi's hand and practically drag her to my room, all excited. We get in there, and I've turned most of it actually into an indoor water feature. There's actually
Nice.
a large pond in the middle of the room, and there's lily pads. There is a bed. It looks like it's never been slept in. But I offer the bed to Shashi, and then before going to sleep, I'll turn back into my dragonfly form, which is like a foot-long dragonfly, and just kind of light on the lily pads and the water feature, and there's just running water and the moonlight streaming in, and sleeping dragonfly.
Fantastic. All right. All of you are able to hit that button and achieve your long rest. Aemaris, in your meditations, you are replaying the events from a perspective that you are as if you were standing outside a window watching everything happen, sort of running through the outfits that people were wearing, freezing in on moments that you see that perhaps if only you had acted a little bit quicker here, if that person had not been in your way here, things could have turned out differently. But it is a meditation, so it is not an active trying to change things. It is watching and studying. And make a make a history check for me with advantage, because you have gone through these meditations many, many times.
Oh, right. Well, your advantage made a big difference. I rolled a 28.
Excellent. You come to one section where you are moments away from being able to get to where your sister is. But this group of assailants that are cloaked, well, their faces are covered, they are cloaked, and they have on their armor this same twisted symbol. They grab her, huddle around, and teleport away. But at this point, you notice something that you didn't pay too much attention to before. The colors that swirl around this group when they're teleporting away are that sort of off purple, off white, and that burnt yellow that is tinged to the magic. And they teleport away. And you are all awake and completed your long rest. How would you like to proceed for the day? Remember, you do all have your communicators that were given to you, so you are able to communicate with each other from anywhere in the city.
Is it like a text message or is it a voice thing?
It's a voice thing. Yeah, you just think of the person that you want to talk about that has one of these, and you are able to talk to them in your head, basically. If you want to think of all of the people, you can as well. All of the unifiers, then you can as well.
I'm going to think of Aemaris, and I'm going to say, "Hey, are you ready? We have to go to my parents."
Well, so when do we have to leave?
As soon as possible, because it's a day travel through the carriage or the tram or whatever. Tram?
Very well.
Depending on where you leave from, it could be less than a day. The pick a direction, because we have not discussed this yet. North, south, east, or west?
North.
North, east, or west, or direct north?
Northeast.
Northeast. Okay, yeah. So if you went to the entrance to the Undercity from the Unifiers Guild, it would not take you that long to get to the estate of your parents in the Undercity.
Awesome. How long would we then be?
Oh gosh, not very long at all. It would take you, like, if you wanted to walk, it would be like half a day. But there are, various means of transportation. There's the circular tram that you can get on. Well, that sort of goes around the edge of the thing. But there are carriages you could take. So a couple of hours.
Yeah. A couple of hours. We should be able to reach our estate. We can leave now and be there by lunch.
Okay.
All right. And then I think of Xaxi and Tuxil. Where are you guys?
We had a sleepover.
Okay. Where?
Oh, Guild of Growers in my rooms.
Is Xaxi with you, Tuxil?
Yes,
Uh-huh.
I'm here.
All right. Well, Amaris and I are gonna go to my estate for a little bit. And then we should meet up to talk about the thing.
We should. Would
Okay. Uh-huh. It wouldn't take us that long. Maybe it may I don't know, but I'll keep you guys. I'll stay in contact basically.
Is Aemaris with you?
Yeah. He is. We have to go to our estate. I mean my estate.
To your parents'
My estate. My
house?
parents' estate. Yes, exactly.
With Aemaris?
That is what I had said. Yes.
would you like us to join you?
I'd love to see this. I mean,
Sure. I mean, I'll tell my parents about it. How far is the growers from my parents' estate?
It's very far, but if they're going back to the Unifiers Guild, then they would be able to make use of the circle, the teleportation circle again. If this is, on guild business, which theoretically it is.
I mean, sure, just come soon because we're leaving soon so that we could get there by lunch.
did we want to talk to the head of the Growers Guild first, or should we just go?
No, we should. We're here. We should ask. They may have some more information.
Well, I'll send you the way to the house, and then if we're gone by the time you get here, you can just go ahead and go. That way I can also tell my parents, because I've only told them that myself and Aemaris is coming. So at least when we get there, I can tell that 2 more people are coming.
We wouldn't want to intrude.
You wouldn't be intruding. It'll be fine.
She said it's fine.
All right, we'll see you guys soon. Connection end.
Connection
up.
and hang up.
Hard hang up.
So, Lady Salome, you are going to join Aemaris at the Guild of Unifiers. Are either of you interested in breakfast this morning?
I would, if they have a quick one, then I will get some. Just
There
because
is-
I know I will be hungry.
There is always breakfast and food that is available, and there is, Mara, who is the cook of the Guild of Unifiers. She is a lovely Asmar woman in her sort of like mid-50s. Zanya is the groundskeeper, is her husband, and he is sort of like, 60-something or so.
Mhm.
He is there busy happily chatting to his wife in the morning and greets you. It's lovely to see you this morning, Lady Salome.
Lovely to see you too. How have you been?
Oh, right, fair. I don't think anybody that we knew was hurt in these attacks. Isn't that right, Mara? And she says, oh, no, dear. I think everyone we know is completely fine. But terrible business with all that. We hear, so many people getting injured. What can I get you for breakfast?
French toast, if you have any.
What? Oh, that was the thing invented by that fella, right?
Yes, it's taking Thala by storm, and I've always wanted to have some.
The things that the makers come up with these days. I never thought they'd be getting into food of all the like, but I mean, why not? But sure, it's coming right up.
Thank you.
Has Aemaris joined for breakfast?
Sure. Mars will cast mage armor on himself first, though.
Fantastic. All right. And how about yourself? Well, I can't really say young man because you're probably like 4 or 5 times older than me, but it's all relative, like.
I don't know. that. But I'm fine. I have something already prepared for myself. But thank you for asking.
Of course. All right. Well, that won't be a moment. And Mara goes off and eventually does provide you with French toast, which was invented by one of the makers, the artisanal guild. Getting into cooking now as well, taking Thala by storm. And it is absolutely delicious. It is, it is done exactly how you would want your French toast to be. And there are the condiments that you might wish to put on there. If you're a syrup person or a jam person or a cream person, whatever you would like is available for you to eat. And is absolutely delicious. And as always, there are the sort of clay warmed jugs that are available for people to have their hot chocolate, so their spiced hot chocolate in these sort of traditional cups. They're poured quite high to get a good foam in them. Yes, but you are able to enjoy that breakfast, and you do not notice Drexel anywhere around. It seems as if he is probably busy this morning. And anything you would like to discuss during your breakfast time?
Mars is eating what looks to be like a small orb of various kind of multicolored liquids that seems to just kind of stay together. Is there anything I need to know about this?
What's
Lady
that?
Salome? Is there anything
Sorry,
need
I
to
was
know?
really enjoying my French toast. What's that?
Is there anything I need to know about this trip?
Ah, only that this would be the first time you would be introduced to my parents. They have been asking to meet you because I told them that I have a paramour here in the city, and that is the only time that they've stopped matchmaking me with anybody else. This is the whole purpose of our arrangement.
Of course, as long as you keep up your part of the agreement, I have no issues.
No problem. That will be kept up. Just as long as you also keep your part of just agreeing to whatever I say for now, as a paramour, of course. Agreed?
Sure.
Awesome. This shouldn't last long because I'm pretty sure after my parents have gotten over the fact that I have uh a person, they will stop asking and matchmaking me, and I can be free to do whatever I want. Right?
Matters not to me.
Yes, I understand it doesn't matter, but it matters to me, so I need you to pretend a little bit like you care.
All right.
Sweet. Okay. Shall we go? Are you done?
I suppose so, yes.
All right, cool. And then Lady Salome just stands up and leaves. Doesn't look back, expecting Aemaris to be just following her.
All
I'm the
right.
boss here.
It is a short walk through the section of the city that you are in now, which is where a lot of the more general business type activities can happen here. So there's like a very central district where the buildings are very, very tall, and the Guild of Unifiers is on one of the various levels. As I mentioned, the growers make sure that there are some form of greenery that are attached or connected to every building that is here. So it is very easy to hear the sound of birds and such, even though this is in a very, very tall city and very, very deep city as well. Up to a certain point where you hit the ground level, and then you have to make your way to a couple of the stairs which lead down to lower levels, and eventually on the ground you are able to find one of the entryways which head into the lower city, the undercity of Moranson, where you can find a tramway which would take you to sort of like a more centralized part. And we'll come back to that in just a moment, but we're going to zoom in on Tuxil and Xaxi for a second here. You are awake, having spoken to Aemaris and Lady Salome, and you are wanting to see if one of the guild masters of the Growers Guild are available, or if everything is okay. Tuxil, you know where to go by now. You make your way from your home or to one of the pardon me.
It's the pollen in the Guild of Growers building. It gets to people.
Yeah. So you make your way to ground level from, I'm not sure if your apartment was higher up or lower down, but
The higher the better, yeah.
Yeah. You make your way to ground level, where the streets here are very much, sort of like compacted earth and soft undergrowth and such that people are able to walk through. And you make your way to where there is a sort of set up between a couple of these large trees, almost like an amphitheater-esque type Roman temple, very open air, all beautifully grown out of these these thick trees, intricately sung into place. The actual living trees itself has this very kind of like cream-colored marble type texture. It's very, very beautiful, and you know that this is kind of like sort of like the hangout slash office slash party palace of Lord Kal-El. It is quite common to see people in various states of very little clothing lounging around this area, having good old-fashioned bacchanals, because he is the Lord of the Grove and of wine and music, and this is sort of his jam. On this day, there are not too many people engaged in that kind of stuff, because it is fairly early, and you actually come up into the one of the main area where there are definite couches and all sorts of things on display. There is already a table that is set up with a cornucopia of various different foods and drinks and such, but in a bower that is sort of made up of vines and sort of hanging there is in a large circular way, you find that Lord Kal-El, wearing some manner of loincloth on this day, is actually next to this bower, where you see the unconscious and sleeping form of Lady Ixaloa. You can judge that even though, he is, well, they are both archfey, so it is very easy for them to magic themselves clean if they feel like it. You can see that there are soot stains and such that are on Lord Kal-El's very well muscled shoulders, and his deer-like legs with his sort of stag horns which are on top of his head, and he is gently singing to Lady Ixaloa, and one of his hands is sort of moving across, but she is not stirring. There are a couple of dryads and such which are attending the area, and this is where you find yourself.
Does she look sleeping unconscious or like unconscious unconscious?
She looks unconscious.
Oh no.
Uh, He has not paid you any attention. He is continuing to sing and to perform some kind of restorative magic.
Xaxi, you're good at this too, right?
I have some skill. I don't know if it would help, but I can definitely take a look. Can I do a medicine check or see if I can tell what's going on with her?
You want to approach up to there where the bower is?
I'll lead Xaxi up to it.
Okay. As
Slittering
both of you come closer to the bower, you feel yourselves feeling energized and feeling as if you are being renewed and revitalized just by the presence of the very potent magic that Lord Colel is singing into being here, just in his presence.
Wait, do I recognize this? Can I do this?
In a sense, you can. This is pure and undiluted. The pure and undiluted version of the Song of Life. If you live long enough and gain enough ability to become Archfey yourself, you believe yours might be as potent as this is.
I motion to Xaxi to come and sit next to me and find like a branch to sit on and light on it. And I'll pull out my pan flute and play with his song and play with him.
You begin to harmonize, and the effect is definitely noticeably what's the word for it? Enlivened, added to. We'll go for added to. And you see that Lord Colel does have a bit of a smile on his face, and eventually he does stop singing, and there you can tell that Lady Xalo is breathing and resting. She's not woken up, and he smiles and says, "Well, thank you for that, Tuxil. I'm afraid you're not catching me on my best at the moment here. I've seen, yes, Xaxi, I believe."
That is correct. Thank you for your allowing me into your grove last night. And if there's anything that I can do to assist, please, you have my assistance and the assistance of the Guild of Knowers as well.
It's quite kind of you to offer, and it's very much appreciated. I believe Ixalaba will be all right. She had to expend a lot of her energy last night. Some rest will do her good.
I tried to get back as soon as I could. I'm sorry I couldn't help.
There's very little that you could have done, to be frank, unfortunately. This, well, if Ixalawa hadn't been there, I would be the one in bed requiring her attention. This was like nothing I've seen. That green fire would have spread to so many places. But Ixalawa was able to contain it. It took the whole night and continuous effort and the shield being put up. But it did eventually stop. Apparently there is still some thing in the center of what used to be one of our fields. But for now, we've decided it's best that no one approach it until we're all fully up to par, shall we say.
You mean like a thing? Like a thing?
Not living, no. Some piece of technology, some device. Whatever set off the explosion.
Oh.
But it
Oh.
remains.
Yes. Energy
you-
is expended, but we have not wanted to send anyone into the area as of yet. Many lives were lost last night.
We saw some of the aftermath when we went to ask some questions of my guild master about who may have caused this and why.
Xaxi, can you show him? We have a clue, I think.
It is, I cast minor illusion again and hold out the symbol sort of floating lazily. It is, symbol represents something of great power. It nearly caused us all grievous injuries. It was, although it's not Oxala, it may be related to her somehow.
Something about this is hitting my mind, but I can't quite remember. This is not a symbol I would associate with Oxala. But
Oh.
I feel as if I've seen this before. I can't place my finger on it, but
We saw it was made out of metal in the shape of an amulet. Does that help?
metal.
Sort of thread-like and woven or twisted together. I don't know. Xaxi, what would you call it?
I spent some time in my youth traveling this world. Give me some time. I will see if I can remember where I saw this. But it won't be today.
We are grateful for whatever knowledge you can pass on, even if it is not immediate. But we need, they have a relative, a friend of ours. These are not people of high morals. I do not trust anyone that would kidnap another.
No, not at all. No, unless there was some form of consent involved.
I don't think that was the case.
Well, I will think about this. Something about the metal. You'll forgive me, I'm exhausted.
Of course.
But is there anything I can do for you before before I grab a quick bite to eat or clean myself up a bit?
We could use a portal.
Where are you going?
To get more information.
I mean, a portal requires a destination. Where?
Right.
I believe we were headed back towards the Unifiers, and from there to meet up with our friends.
Where are your friends going?
It's Lady Salome. They're at her family's estate.
Oh. Well, let's skip the middleman, shall we? And he walks over to a large section of tree trunk and puts his hand on the trunk, and it splits open and becomes a doorway. You have about 6 seconds, quickly.
I grab Tuxil's hand and run for it.
I wave at him as the tree closes.
Lady Salome and Aemaris, you have come into the Undercity and taken a bit of time on the tram to get to the main part here. And here, the underground is very, very beautiful. The streets are cobblestone. The buildings themselves are all grown and created out of a wood that is grown and harvested from a kind of mushroom that is grown here in the underground. It is known as zirkwood, but all sculpted in very, very interesting fashions. If you have ever played Morrowind, it's closer to those Telvanni structures. A bit of that, plus there is always this motif of spider webs that are connected to everything that's done here, but not in a way that is unnecessarily creepy or overt or threatening. There has always been a strong connection with the drow on Thala and spiders, and that once the culture began exploring more of the depths of the history of Thala and making their way underground to do research and to discover hidden knowledge, the spiders became wonderful allies, as there are very few places that they cannot reach within the Underdark. And so it's in a place of where you would see people riding around horses here, drawing the carts and such. You actually see steeders, which are these spiders which have a bit of a spiky back to them, and they are quite happy. People keep them as pets, and yeah, you can purchase them as well. And Aemaris, do you think this is your first time here within the Undercity? Or have you ventured down here before?
No, never before.
All right. One of the greatest, one of the premier universities in Moranz is actually located in the Undercity. This is where most of the Enders come to study their wizardly magic. A lot of the makers and the come here as well to study their wizardly magic. There is a wonderful campus down here as well, and you would see that in the caverns that are here in the Undercity, there are these crystals that grow out of the walls, giving the soft, like bluish purple luminescence that come out of everything, and there is like a light but unobtrusive background hum, I could say, that you would in modern days maybe, well, in our worlds you can kind of associate it with that background hum of like electricity, but here it is these crystals themselves which give off this sort of like background hum. It is not horrible to listen to or whatever, but if it suddenly went away you'd be like, oh, power's out, you know what I mean? And one of the most noticeable aspects throughout the city, each of the great noble houses, and you can see this as you begin walking towards the area, unless you're hiring a carriage, which is also fine. Either way, as you travel towards the area where House Bowstone is, the manors themselves are, everything is open. There are no huge fences to keep out people and keep out the public, because each of the major drow houses houses one of the ancestor trees, which are these enormous, they're not really trees per se, they're more a type of fungus, but it looks like a white barked sort of like growing, if you know what a baobab tree looks like, if you can have a look those up, I can't see a picture there, they kind of look like that, but like white barked, and instead of leaves they have like little bulbs on them, little sort of like bluish bulbs, but very 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 tall. These trees themselves are where people come, and there are shrines set up to different family lines and to the ancestors, and people come here and light incense and pray. And when the process of you know, ascending to the Undying Court takes place, it is actually through one of the ancestor trees where a grand praetor or a grand matron will actually become part of the tree, and then one of these sort of like glowing blue fruit pods on top of the trees in place of leaves actually produces their new sort of archfey body. And again, it's not everyone that chooses to become part of the Undying Court, but it is this give back process of ancestor worship that actually empowers the Undying Court, and it is this give back to the community process that is a core element of the Drow society on Thala. I know there was a big lore drop, but I like the Drow in my world, so I wanted to talk about it. Yes, and you are actually making your way towards the Bowstone Manor, where there is another growing, quite large growing fungus tree that splits open, and through it walk Tuxil and Xaxi.
Hello, you guys. Have you been to the Underdark?
No, it is beautiful.
Yes. Welcome to my home, or rather, my parents, where I grew up and all that, and you know. Shall we go in?
So many spiders.
Yes. Very,
I-
very pretty spiders.
Are there actually spiders?
Yeah.
Yeah, like everywhere.
They're beautiful, and
There are actually not far away from you. You see a group of children go running, and I say children, but they're elves, so they could at least be 50. But in human terms, they'd be like 6 or something. They are running past, and you see that one of the little children actually has this sort of it's like purple and blue sparkly tarantula, very hairy, very cute, on his shoulder as they go running past.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go towards the what I assume is a very, very big house.
Mm-hmm.
And I ring the I don't know. I don't own a mansion. Whatever that thing that says door open, I'm here or something.
Well, there would be the house oh gosh, there's an actual word for it for the guards, but I can't think of it right now. But the guards,
It's
basically.
actually just a gold coin slot. You have to pay to let people know you're here.
I have like a little gold coin that is like connected to a string, just so that I don't have to keep paying.
But the two of the house guards are in front of the door, and they have sort of the ceremonial weaponry that they carry. They're wearing your house insignia, which you can decide on something what it looks like if you want to now or later.
It's gonna be spider related.
Well, yeah,
But very,
yeah.
very pretty. I'm gonna tell you about it later. But it is definitely gonna be purple. A lot of purple and lavender and pink and blue in there. Is what I'm saying.
Fantastic.
And then I am the type I would probably know the two guards by their
Mhm.
name. I just don't want to give them a name right now, just because in my head they're gonna be Jimbo and Jim,
Well,
and I don't want to name them that.
one of his well the one the one is sort of the captain of your guard. His name is Local.
Okay.
And he is on duty today, and Local bows his head and sort of puts
Captain
his spear there.
Local, how are you today?
I'm doing well, Lady Salome. It is a pleasure to see you again.
Yeah. I'm here to bring some of my friends around. And also Aemaris
Of
to
course.
introduce officially to my parents.
Oh, this is the one.
Yes.
You know, your sister won't shut up about it. It's very entertaining.
Yes.
But tell me, it is a pleasure to meet all of you. And I will introduce. My name is Local. It is welcome to House Boston.
Are they home? Are they here?
Yes, they arrived home last night. It was. I understand there was a lot of trouble in the upper city.
Yeah.
Your mother, I believe, is busy attending to some business. Your father is in his study. Your sister, I believe, yes, I think, Devan, where did we see her? Oh, she went out to the campus. Something about extra studies today.
That's fine. I'm only here to introduce people to my parents. It'll be fine. I'll go and just I'm just gonna go in and ring for my dad. I'll see you later, okay?
Of course. Yes. Make before you leave. A number of folks lost their lives last night. Make sure to light some incense before you go.
Yes. I will definitely remember that, Captain Will.
Yeah. Ancestors be with you.
Ancestors be with you.
And the door opens up into a very lovely home. It doesn't take you very long to make your way up to the study that your father was told, or that you were told that your father would be in. What do they see as they enter your family ancestral home?
They definitely see a very old sort of mansion. Very, very big. The study itself is filled with books because my father likes to read and research. Has a lot of there's a lot of like soft lights as well. And when you enter into his study, it's he's there and he's reading his book. And I will say, Father.
Your father sort of takes some reading glasses off his face and sort of closes them, stands up, and has a big smile on the face. My poppet, come here. And walks up to him.
And I give him a kiss on the cheek. and I say, these are my friends, Xaxi and Tuxil, and I am here to officially introduce you to Aemaris. You know, Aemaris.
Oh, so you are the young man that is seeing my little girl. Am I to understand this?
That is correct. It is fascinating to meet you. I hope you are doing well.
All things considered, yes. Some of the people we take care of not so well, as there were some issues last night, as I'm sure you are aware.
I am-
Your mother is unfortunately at work. There's much to attend to.
I
But-
saw definitely two from the noble houses lost. Chiron, one of them.
Really?
Yeah,
Was he among one of the victims?
you can say that. He probably was one of the people causing the problem. I don't know. I went straight here and and other than Lady Machante, nobody else probably knows.
So let me understand this for a moment. You're introducing me to your paramour,
Yeah.
the one who is
Yeah, just so that mom could
and you are
get off
telling
my
me
back.
that the only surviving son of House Mitzley is a terrorist on the same day. This
Sort
is
of, but
what's
I
going
wouldn't say
on here.
surviving because he's kind of dead.
Yes, yes, of course, of course. It's kind of dead.
Yeah.
Um, lunch.
Would mom be there?
It, probably. I can go get her.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that might be best. Yes.
All right. Yes. It was lovely to meet all of you. You can. Would you like to take them out to the back gardens?
Yes.
Lunch will be prepared there. I'll go and find your mother.
Thanks. I'll see you later. And then I turn and like just gesture to everyone to just follow her to the back gardens.
All right. You are leading them out to the back gardens, and it is quite a lovely area. You can see Tuxil. To you, this is very interesting because it's all manner of different flora that you are not used to per se. I will say Chuck probably has mixed feelings about the kinds of flora that you would find here, as they are mostly fungal in nature.
I would like to cast Enhance ability on myself for Eagle Splendor.
All right, and that is the one for wisdom, yes?
That is the one for Charisma.
Charisma, okay,
Oh.
charisma. All right, very
Here
nice.
to impress the parents.
Excellent. You make your way to a sort of an outside terrace type area where there are tables and chairs and stuff that are set up, and you actually find that you are not alone at this area. There is a visitor that has come to the area, to your parents' house on this day as well. Some of you recognize her already seated and talking to one of the household staff about something. It is the the Lady Philandria Mitzley, who some of you had met on one of the cable car rides not long ago. And as she's about to speak, we are going to pause there. And we hope you enjoyed today's episode of Thala Unbound. And if you all want to catch up on what's been happening, the VODs are available immediately afterwards. Otherwise, you can head on over to YouTube and give us a sub there. And you can catch up on past episodes. As always, lovely, lovely, lovely seeing all of you. And we'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.